In this video, we are going to learn how to add some kind of extra textures to meshes, aka decals. There are two ways to do that in Babylon.js, which are decal maps and mesh decals. In this tutorial, we are going to focus on the latter. As you can see here, we have this sphere and we want to use raycasting to put some stickers on it. So what I'm going to do is create a decal by calling create decal, and I'm going to pass 3 arguments. The first one is the name of the instance, the second is the mesh we want to apply the texture to, and the third is a configuration object. And here I'm going to use the position property to set the position of the decal on top of the sphere. Now back to the scene, we still can't see any change because all we did was create the decal without passing a color or a texture, so let's do that. So I'm simply going to create a material, set a diffuse color, and pass the material to the decal. And now we got something, but as you see we have some Z fighting as the decal and the surface of the sphere are rendered at the same Z position. To fix that, I'll add a Z offset to the decal material. And there we go. Now, of course, you wouldn't do all of this just to print some red squares on your meshes, so let's use some diffuse texture. As you can see, we got the texture applied, but the background of this SVG image is actually transparent, yet we see a black one. So to get rid of the black background, I'll just set the has alpha property of the decal material to true. And then again we got another problem, which is this weird scaling and distortion of the texture. To solve that problem, we need to pass the normal of the sphere where the decal is applied onto to match the round surface. Now we can change the decal size and also rotate it using the size and angle properties respectively. Applying decals to models is a little bit trickier than just passing the model as an argument to the create decal method, and that's because a model is not a single unit most of the time, but it is a set of meshes set together. So what we need to do is find a way to select the mesh we want to apply the decal to first. That being said, let's import some model. Next, I'm going to get rid of the sphere and copy the exact same code I used earlier. Now, as my goal is to place some stickers on the back of the laptop, I need to find the mesh that represents that part. To do that, I'm going to use the inspector to get the name of that specific mesh. And here, to find the right mesh, we need to go through the models tree and use the eye icon to highlight the mesh. So as I did this beforehand, I know that object 8 is the right one, so I'll copy the name from this text field, then in the code I'll set it in this raycast condition. Next, we need to have a variable that points to that object, hence I'll create the variable and call getMeshByName to assign the mesh to it. And here I'll replace the sphere with the mesh, and that's it. Now let's make some interface to add 3 different decals on this laptop. So I'm going to start with a container and 3 divs. Next, I'll center the container horizontally. And here I'm setting the size and the background properties of the buttons, as I'm making the images as backgrounds, not actual IMG tags. Now, in the JavaScript file, I'll assign the buttons to a handful of variables. And of course, I'll load the images as textures. Next, I'm going to create a function that has the texture to be set to the material as a parameter, and then it returns that material. The next step is creating a function that highlights the button to which is assigned the current texture. And now I'm going to make 3 materials. Finally, I'll set the selected material to the decal, and that's it. If I scroll back a little, you see that the stickers are not working. So as you may know, Babylon.js gives you the ability to create a default environment, which is this box in soft light, and these are considered objects. So by scrolling back and clicking, the intersection of the raycaster is captured between the mouse and the default environment, rather than the mesh. To fix this, we just need to make the skybox not pickable by the raycaster. And this is it for this tutorial, so make sure to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.